Your rig is where you work, where you rock out. Your rig is your livelihood. So when that DPF light comes on, give your rig the respect it deserves. As for Road Warrior, stronger seals, better manufacturing, and it's made of metal that lasts. Less downtime and more miles on the road so you can haul longer. Respect the rig. Become a Road Warrior.
Welcome to The Long Haul, the podcast dedicated to empowering small carriers and owner-operators to drive their business forward. I'm your host, Adam Wingfield, bringing you insights from industry leaders, real-world success stories, and strategies to help you navigate the road to profitability. Whether you're just getting started or looking to take your fleet to the next level, this is a show where trucking meets opportunity. So buckle up, it's time to go the distance.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of The Long Haul. This is our first time being live, so before you do anything, do me a favor. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and also make sure you go to www.freightwaves.com/playbook and make sure you get signed up for that newsletter so we can drop those weekly tools to you to help you as the owner, operator, and small carrier be more successful. Today, I am excited because I'm giving you a 2-for-1 today. With my first guest, who's not a stranger to the podcast. Super excited to have a friend of Playbook, a friend of ours, to really come back and sit down and talk a little bit more and dive a little deeper into the maintenance side. Mr. Tyler Harden with TTN Solutions. Welcome back, Tyler.
Thanks, Adam. So here in Chattanooga. Yeah.
I heard you had a little interesting experience on the way in yesterday.
Yes, we didn't quite land and decided to go back up.
How do you did not quite land? Like you said, I didn't quite land, but you're sitting beside me. So
yeah, well, so we did eventually land.
Okay, so you landed at some point.
But we came down at first, decided to come back up. Second tour of the beautiful little city of Chattanooga. So
yeah,
came back down.
Well, Tyler, it's great to have you back, first of all. And for those that missed that first episode, give us the quick version. What exactly does TTN Fleet Solutions do?
Yeah. So mainly we administer roadside assistance programs for carriers. We have a network of service providers that are across the country and Canada, supplying towing, truck repair, mobile truck repair, things like inspections. We also do tires, lots of different services. Anything you need roadside, we can take care of.
So when you think about network, right, I really think about that network because a lot of times owner operators and small fleet owners, they're looking for mechanics, right? They're looking for, they might be in a place where they're looking for a solution, might have a truck down in the middle of nowhere. You guys tie that in together?
Yeah, absolutely. So we got full coverage of the entire country. And so we don't own any assets currently out there in the field. So we contract with a lot of these providers. And we hold them to, rates, and we hold them to insurance and things like that from the liability perspective.
Wow.
Making sure that you're getting a good service in the time you need it. Usually it's not in a good time. Breakdowns happen whenever they happen.
Yeah. So when you think about that too, you mentioned standards, right? So you talk about like, hey, we hold them to race, we hold them to, is there a communication standard that you hold them to? There's a, because you think about that when breakdowns happen, man, I need to know when that tow truck's coming.
Yeah. Well, the magic of our business is really the process, and we standardize a process for everything from the intake all the way to the completion.
Yeah.
Give you a full look at exactly what happens, and our providers are required to follow certain steps, and we hold them accountable to that process from start to finish.
So when you think about we talked, man, it had to have been I don't know, maybe about 6 months ago.
Yep.
And to now, things move very, very quickly. I was just in the room talking to Clone Ops, and they launched their product in July, and they've already have scale of what that is.
Yep.
What has evolved in the fleet support side from your perspective since the last time we talked? Is there any major updates, anything?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've got AI coming. I think that's going to be an interesting thing. But really, businesses now in the last 6 months, with the slowdown and stuff that's happening, they're really looking for efficiencies. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're going in. We're going in and looking at places where you can place efficiency into the process. And it may not be our full suite of services, but we're really looking at those kind of daggers we can throw in there to attack cost. I was talking to a fleet the other day. They're up almost a full cent per mile just in maintenance costs
Jeez.
right now.
What do you think's driving that?
Well, I think it has a lot to do. Deferred maintenance, I think, is probably, you've got, so if you defer the maintenance, now you've got a higher probability of breakdowns.
Yeah.
As we talked about a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I think that's got a thing to do with it as well. And just overall general trying to keep your truck a little longer. I think that average fleet age that's kind of stretching out a little bit. I saw truck sales are kind of down a little bit this year. So I think that all plays into it.
Now, there was an article that was generated in terms of, you hear all kinds of shortages these days. There's and we don't have to go down that rabbit hole because that's a totally different rabbit hole.
Yeah.
There's labor shortages in every category. Specifically, we was talking about the labor shortage in the category of mechanics.
Yeah.
Do you see that in downtime? Is that something that you guys are measuring in terms of that?
We haven't seen it translate to our downtime. We try to contract with providers that are in strategic locations.
Yeah.
And our providers are really, really good business operators. We try to partner with the best. And so their culture is different. Their hiring practices are different. And I think that you have a shortage when you don't have the right culture and you don't have the right hiring practices. That's when I think the shortage comes in.
So do you anticipate over those next, 6-8 months, you talked about AI.
Yep.
And even here at F3, we can't walk anywhere without AI kind of being around us.
Yep.
What are some of those opportunities for TTN that maybe you can talk about, maybe you can't, that you have identified that said, hey, you know what? We'd like to get into this marketplace because we think that it would bring more value to our subscribers. And then most importantly, it bring more value to those guys that are out there every day that are unfortunately have to use the services.
Yes, certainly. So I'll go kind of 2 tracks. The first track is going to be, we have been cloud-based since the start, since the inception, okay, for 14 years. So we've captured tons of data around breakdowns and everything that's in and out of them, the network, even on the fleet side as well, we capture that stuff. So I think there's a bigger play with some data structure and looking at some future stuff with that data set. And then more practical, we're taking AI pieces and looking at automation inside the process. And we've already kind of started with that a little bit. A simple one is summarizing notes into a quick read, basically, on this, so you can get acquainted with that order or what's going on with that truck just very quickly.
Yeah. And it's amazing to see how far AI has come. And I know everybody's going to probably be tired of hearing about AI at some point, but AI continuously evolves and makes processes simpler. And I think when you get to the point of being able to have that AI component, especially when it comes to, hey, I need to get a roadside partner. I need you to go out and maybe an AI bot call in the actual roadside partner and getting the information and communicating it down to the owner operator. I think it's really important. Now, most importantly, when you talk about when a truck goes down, everybody feels it, whether it's the broker, whether it's the carrier, the shipper. There's going to be some aggravated people when it comes down to it. From your perspective, what's the real cost of downtime that most small fleets, which are really the ones that listen to this show, that they underestimate?
Yeah, certainly. Well, customer experience for your freight customer is kind of the first one that comes to mind, right? Making sure that you're communicating with them. And it's very hard to communicate when you really don't know what the timelines are. That's something that we try to solve, where we're communicating those timelines as you go through. We track ETA, ATAs, we track average time of completion, those types of things. It helps you make better business decisions when you have the data to be able to make it. And then the next thing is just in general safety. I think being on the side of the road and being stopped on the side of the road is a dangerous place to be.
Absolutely.
The most you can, if you can eliminate that or limit that time, that's going to be best for your health and best for your drivers and best for your fleet.
TTN Solutions, from a perspective of being customer focused, your main customer is that driver behind the wheel.
Absolutely.
What happens when you have a partner that doesn't meet the expectation of that driver consistently and doesn't meet those communication standards? Does TTN pull that belt out, or what we do?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we our partners that we partner with on the network side, they know what our standards are, and if they act against those standards, we just remove them from the network. And we'll also go back to them if there's any concessions that are needed there. Driver experience really is everything. We work for some of the largest fleets in the country, but we always go driver first.
Yeah.
And if we feel like we can get that right, then we can get everything else right for sure.
How are you able to balance that though, man? Just think about that. You guys partner with, and I know some of the fleets that you guys manage with. How are you able to manage those relationships? Because as a small carrier, I don't work the same way as you guys do. Like, I don't have those infrastructures in place.
Yep.
How do you make sure that you're delivering that customer experience to the small carrier, to the big carrier, everything in between with the same energy?
Yeah. So it's all back to the basics, Adam. You know this. We talked about this in playbook.
Yeah.
It's those structured basics, hitting those key points. And for us, it's our process.
Yeah.
We run our process. You can be a big fleet. You can be a small fleet. Our process is the same no matter what.
Yeah.
And we might be reporting to a fleet differently or having maybe 3 or 4 different layers of communication as far as approvals and hierarchies and different things like that. So the overall structure might be different. But at the end of the day, there's a driver that's stranded that we need to get help for, and our network supports that.
I want to talk about getting better, because there's a lot of times that, as companies, I really believe being vulnerable as a business owner, as a business representative, being vulnerable and understanding what your pain points or those weak spots or some of those areas of opportunity where you learn most from, I think are really, really important. When I think about that, I want you to think about ways, share a real example where there was a decision where response time within your network either made or broke
Oh, yeah.
somebody's week.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have learned over the last 14 years, not without failure. Right?
Yeah.
And so we look at those things and we are highly critical of different things. What could we have done better? Where are we at? I'm happy to report we have like a 98.5% success ratio.
Okay.
So less than 2% where there's any type of issue.
Yeah.
And only a few of those result in any type of monetary challenge.
Yeah.
And so we've just learned over the years in that adversity. But I'll tell you that we deal with weather. That's a big thing.
Sure.
Like so we installed something. We had an incident where a driver was cold. We installed that call and check and make sure that we're all right. We'll respond with authorities or whatever we need to do. Again, it goes back to that driver experience. Really, really honing in on that and making sure they're taken care of.
Your model is built on connecting fleets with vendors very quickly and being able to, when people think about roadside assistance or think about anything where they don't see the things that happen behind the scenes. They just, hey, I'm in Reform, Alabama with, I'm in D-rate 5 miles an hour, can't move this truck. I need somebody out here pretty quickly because I got to, load ice cream on the back. People don't see that. How do you guys vet and manage that network to ensure quality? Is this something that's ongoing? Yeah. Is it, hey, as soon as you sign up, oh yeah, you check all the boxes, you're good, I'll see you next year? Is there a continuous learning, continuous quality assurance process in there?
Yeah, absolutely. So we measure a lot. We have a quality score against those providers, much like a carrier and a brokerage, right? It's very similar to that. But we're looking for those best players, those best actors. And commonly, we'll go to these providers that are good.
Yeah.
And say, hey, we've got this hole in this area. Can you expand? What does that look like? Can you grow your business? And we've grown businesses several times over.
That's good. And I think that when it comes to separation, especially because you deal with both, you guys got big fleets and small fleets. So what separates those small fleets that manage breakdowns?
Yeah.
Right. So I think that you got 2 types of breakdowns, in my opinion. You got those breakdowns that happen at a plan. You kind of know that you haven't been doing what you're supposed to do with this truck and you kind of plan for it without planning for it. Then you have those surprise breakdowns that happen when you're doing everything that you need to do. I'm following my maintenance schedules. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do from that perspective. What separates those small fleets? Because you guys see it all. What separates those small fleets that manage breakdowns from the ones that gets crushed by just, hey, you know what? I'm going to let this fly until it happens.
Yeah, listen, you partner with us and we got you covered. That's the first one. That's the first plug I'll say.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug. It's cool.
But you got to have a plan. And if TTN's a part of that plan, that's great. If not, have a plan, understand where your routes are, understand the unexpected happens all the time. You could pick something up in the road. Now you've got a tire event happening. Did the tire knock out the taillight? There's a lot of things that you can do. So even if you do everything right, like we've talked about before, you do have to have that plan. So, planning ahead is everything.
It's something that you mentioned on our last time that we sat down and talked that really still stands out with me. And you talked about how mega fleets or larger fleets, they plan for certain components to break down.
Absolutely.
It's like, hey, at 300,000 miles, we know that this is going to be happening because the last, 567 trucks had the same issues around that time. Small fleets don't have that data. Right. They don't have access to that. I run my truck or if I run my 4 trucks and that's all I have. And out of my 4 trucks, not all 4 of them even the same truck. I got a Volvo here, I got an International here, and I got 2 Freightliners. So how does a small fleet compete with that? Not even compete from a perspective of competition,
Right.
but how can a small fleet be able to leverage those same type of principles to have that extra, get that extra mile out their trucks?
Yeah, certainly. Well, you got to know your fleet, and I think that's the biggest thing. And where a smaller carrier has an advantage over a larger carrier is the strict maintenance plan you can run.
Really?
So as a smaller carrier, you can have a much more strict plan. These larger carriers, we've seen them really defer maintenance a little longer, right? Now they know the risks,
Right.
and they're worth taking, like we talked about. But on a smaller carrier, you have an advantage if you can work that plan, make sure you hit your mileage intervals, make sure you're hitting your time intervals, making sure you're doing your inspections. And then the biggest thing is just knowing your vehicle and communicating with your drivers. If you have 1 or 3 to 4 or 5 drivers, communicate with them. Hey, how's the truck running?
Yeah.
Ask those questions. Be kind of curious as to what's going on. I think that will help a lot. You're not going to have the data analytics that a large fleet has. They're successful in some ways, but other ways they're not as successful as you could be in a smaller setting.
So you said being more strict,
Yeah.
right? You could be strict about maintenance up here, but when it comes down to that thing in that back pocket, you might not be able to be as strict.
Yeah.
So how do you, you got to think things are tight.
Yeah.
How can the owner operator or a small fleet owner be able to make those decisions, but at the same time, I don't even want to say you got to pick your poison. At the same time, how do you, what do you think about that decision-making process?
Pick your poison is probably a good thing to talk about.
Okay, let's go
I'm just
for
saying,
it.
because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a family business owner, and so I've had to defer things. Friday comes around and we got payroll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, talk
Friday
it.
comes
Talk that
around
talk.
and
Talk that talk.
Yeah, you've got insurance payments. You've got all of these regulatory things that you have to do. Oh yeah, the truck's got maintenance, right?
Yeah.
And it's I love our industry, and I think it grows opportunity for everybody. And you got to make those tough decisions. But at the end of the day, from maintenance, in my perspective, I'm doing maintenance first so that I make sure that I'm there for the long haul.
I like that. I like what you ended it off with, that long haul, being there for the long haul. That was important. Looking ahead, and this is one thing that I want you to be able to tell the audience, tell the listeners, what is that you're excited about as far as what you see on the forefront of what's happening within TTN? Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be something that you can't share,
Right.
but whatever you can share.
Yeah.
Those listeners right now, what are you excited about in terms of support?
Yeah, so TTN's got a lot of cool initiatives happening. Probably the one thing I'm excited about most is we're partnering with major insurance carriers.
Oh.
And you can go buy truck insurance. They're specializing in the 1 to 10 truck category. And if you buy truck insurance, you can also get a rider for on-road maintenance.
Wow.
We're administering those programs. So not only can you buy the coverage for the maintenance, for the unexpected maintenance event, but you can also get a really world-renowned network behind it with TTN.
Man, that is cool, man. That is cool. Tyler, man, it's always a pleasure having you on the long haul, man. And anytime you're in the studio, you always can stop by and have a chat. Every time you come through, we always walk away with something from a maintenance standpoint. And that gem that you left at the end, I saw an ad from Geico, though, that was showing up on my timeline that made me kind of wonder. But always appreciate those plugs, man. And thank you so much for stopping by the long haul and keeping the businesses rolling.
Yep, thanks,
Thank
Adam.
you. I appreciate you, Tyler.
Today's episode is brought to you by Trucking Hub. Now listen, if you're still bouncing between 5 different logins just to run your trucking business, you're already behind. Trucking Hub is built by a carrier for carriers, and it puts everything under one roof, whether it be dispatch, safety, maintenance, and even accountant and a driver app. Their dispatch runs on PC Miler and Copilot navigation, so the miles are right the first time. Now the ELD is FMCSA certified, tamper-proof, and trusted since 2017. And if you want to keep it all in one lane, you can even roll in company phones, texting, video, and fax backed by nationwide LTE. Bottom line, this is the kind of system that you spend less time hopping and more time hauling. Plans start at just $29 per truck, no contracts, no hidden fees, and you can try it for free for 30 days. Check them out at their website and get your time back.
All right, well, we're going to keep it rolling. And as we roll through, I'm excited about my next guest too. And my next guest, she is no stranger to the industry. One of the things that I love about the opportunity that we have now and have here is the opportunity to kind of talk about the different dynamics that we have. And I'm super excited to have Natasha Sanders, a senior, not a freshman, not a sophomore, not a junior, but I got a senior business coach.
Yes, you do.
With Amazon, the three-letter word AFP, which from that vernacular is known well in the Amazon program.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the show, Natasha.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Adam. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Well, listen, I want to know what AFP stands for. Well, I know, but what the listeners know, what does AFP stand for?
So AFP stands for Amazon Freight Partner.
Amazon Freight Partners.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
And there's Amazon Freight, there's Amazon Relay, there's Amazon Shipping. AFP specifically, Amazon Freight Partner.
There's Amazon everything.
Oh, there might be. Yes.
There's Amazon everything.
I think you might be right.
So for the folks that seen those blue trucks and they don't really know how it works, what's the difference between Amazon Freight Partners and Amazon Relay?
Okay, so Amazon Freight Partner is a global program where Amazon is partnering with, those small business leaders who are interested in starting their own trucking companies, right?
Right.
So Amazon is partnering out. We'll probably talk a little bit later about all the things that Amazon does provide in that partnership. Where Amazon Relay, completely different. This is where truck owner operators who are operating their trucks right now, they go onto the Amazon, the Relay load board. And they find spot work and different type of, auctions. Post the truck, work like that, where they're actually hauling Amazon loads as well.
So Amazon Freight Partner is a lot different from that perspective, because as a relay, I got my own truck, got my own authority. I'm just looking for a little bit of work here. But then you're saying Amazon Freight Partners, we're a little bit more graduated in that. Talk a little bit deeper on what that looks like.
Oh, absolutely. So, again, Amazon Freight Partner, again, a global program. So looking for anyone, again, catering to those more so smaller businesses, or smaller, leaders who are looking to start and, fuel their own trucking company fueled by Amazon.
Got it.
Right. So Amazon is coming in and at very, very low cost. Amazon is providing all of the fleet.
All the trucks.
Amazon's providing all of the trucks.
Okay.
Giving you a consistent weekly work.
Okay.
Fixed weekly rate, so guaranteed work, program, business longevity.
Yep.
Amazon covers the fuel and toll costs. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, partnering with dedicated vendors where they have the opportunity to connect with value-added services. So a lot of the things that in the industry you find a little bit more difficult to kind of connect with or pull into yourself. Amazon is providing that for those interested.
So the biggest difference from that perspective is if I go in a relay program, I'm an owner operator, I'm driving a truck, I'm handling all of that stuff, I'm buying the truck, and I'm navigating through the load board. Going through the Amazon Freight Partner program, it could be an investor. It could be somebody that might not necessarily have that background in trucking.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let me give you a little bit of my story. So, and I didn't introduce myself. So I am a 10-year Amazonian vet. Okay?
Hold on. You said Amazonian?
So I've been
That's a word.
It is a word.
Okay.
I've been with Amazon for 10 years. The first 7 years of my tenure was in human resources. Okay. And so just because I've always had a passion for people leadership and just people support. And so I transitioned into the AFP space, the Amazon Freight Partner space, about 3.5 years ago. And it was honestly a very easy transition because I had an opportunity to expand my own logistics network without losing that hands-on people leadership that I truly love, right? And so in that space, I actually support about 20 Amazon Freight Partners. Could be more, could be a little bit less. But as a senior business coach, I'm supporting these leaders through all facets of their business, right? And so we'll talk, like I said, a little bit more about what Amazon actually provides. But I wanted to give you an example to the question you just had. So I brought on, and I brought on meaning supported them through their business process, a young lady who was actually a nurse manager.
Oh, wow.
Zero trucking experience, okay?
A nurse manager.
Literally, she managed nurses.
So she was no trucking background.
No trucking background, no trucking experience at all. She's based in Atlanta. She's one of my top performing AFPs.
Really?
She has a fleet now of about 19, I want to say, trucks of her own, running a successful business. fueled by Amazon, and in partnership with AFP. So that's the thing. And, we talk about well, what are the different types of candidates that AFP is looking for? It could be the young man over there looking at me right now. No, seriously, but they're looking for those leaders who really have the grit and fit, who are really, ready to come and support their own business. Amazon does also provide a 12-week training program that we support you through in that effort.
And that's incredible. And when I look at you as a business coach, it's not just you. There's business coaches for a variety of regions, right?
Oh yes. So every business coach is designated to a specific region. Myself specifically, I support the Southeast. So I have all of Tennessee, all of Georgia, and all of North and South Carolina. So
South Carolina, shout out.
Busy lady.
See, the reason why I asked about that is because that's important. Because when I think about when you send your kids to school, you want to put them in a classroom where it's like 50-to-1 teacher.
Exactly.
You want to have one where they can get that independent support. And because you're a business coach within that, if I got 19, 20 trucks, I want to make sure I can get a hold of Natasha when I need her.
100%. And that, honestly, that's one of the things that I think that sets Amazon Freight Partner apart in the industry, period, because you have a designated business coach. So I'm making sure that my partners are not missing out on updates, right? Things change like the weather, And so I'm making sure they are up to date from a compliance standpoint, safety standpoint, which is our number one priority. Put that out there. But so dedicated business coach, we're having those conversations on a pretty much daily basis.
So when I think about the support side from the AFP program itself, as a coach, what are some of those offerings and some of those things that the person that comes into the AFP program can expect?
Okay. From a business coach specifically?
Correct.
So for myself, when they come in day one, we are supporting them through the hiring and recruiting. Now I do want to clarify that, the drivers who drive for Amazon Freight Partners, they are employed by those specific companies.
By the company that,
company itself, right?
Not Amazon.
Not by Amazon, right?
All right.
I think that's, very important. It's essential to bring that out because
that's right.
It creates a cultural difference, right? I think it's basically the difference of you working for a small company versus a global corporation. So that expectation. But anyway, from a business coach perspective, we're supporting through recruiting. I mean, when I have my one-on-ones with partners, we're talking about their performance, their on-time delivery. Oh, absolutely. Their acceptance. We're talking about
them into the principal's office?
Oh, 100%. We're talking about their safety, everything A to Z. We want to make sure that they are doing what they need to do to remain successful in this program and to be the most profitable as well.
Well, so you talked about the driver side and you hit on something that was really important because they're not Amazon employees.
That's correct.
They're working for local, in their area, small businesses that are partnered with Amazon. That's really key. How does that dynamic shape, when you think about shape of culture, how does that dynamic shape the culture and experience for your drivers?
No, I think that's a really great question. So, okay, very, very different experience. I mean, so now these the drivers that are hired by our AFPs, they are W-2 employees. Okay. So there's hourly, they have the hourly rate.
Right.
They are receiving healthcare benefits. They're receiving PTO, right? Which is unlike the overall industry standard, right? And then there are also some partners, they go as far, because I mean, again, this is their business. They have the liberty to run it in the way that they choose to outside of those general standards. Some of our partners offer child care benefits, which, as you can imagine, 100%.
Wow, that's
which is needed, right? Especially for the women in the industry.
Both.
Yes, or both, of course. Child care benefits, the 401k and those health saving programs, as well as some mental health programs even.
That's so important.
I think it's very important, especially in this day and age, right? Another thing I wanted to kind of call out is that, hiring is going to look different, from one AFP to the next, because they're different companies, right? Hiring for the same mission, but they're different companies. So drivers, our AFPs, they hire based on a position. They're based on whatever, position they have that needs to be filled versus the industry standard of hiring per trip, right? And so I'll give you an example. So, there are some drivers that are hired for a 37-hour block, right? If they want to drive those longer trips. But then we also have some drivers who like to drive maybe a little bit of a shorter trip. They'll drive a 13-hour block, which we refer to as Solo 1. And then there are the drivers who prefer to drive at night only. And then we have some AFPs who actually hire specifically for that as well. So, like I said, one of the beauties of it is that most of our AFPs have the opportunity to hire for both regional and as well as local trips.
That's so cool. And just so everybody knows from a clarity standpoint, when I see an AFP truck goes down the highway, that truck's got Amazon branding on the side of it. When I see a relay truck go down the highway, it might be ABC Trucking on the side of it. So that's a big difference when it comes to it. Now, you talked about some of the key benefits, and I really appreciate you hitting on those key benefits because I think it's really important, especially when you talk about AFP partners, that sets them up differently than just going to a local job.
Yep.
Going to a food service provider or just a general local job. Those benefits are important from a driver perspective.
100%.
You hit one that really, really, well, you hit a couple of them, but the mental health thing is so important. I just want to just say that's dope.
No, I agree 100%. And again, like I said, I think it absolutely sets AFP partners apart just from overall industry standards in general. So, no, I think you're right.
Now, now, correct me if I'm wrong. There was when you talk about pay within it, you mentioned something about weekly fixed rates. Is that something? Is that a true model?
Yes, it is the model of AFP. Amazon is 100% offering a consistent work stream to these partners with a weekly fixed rate for each truck that they operate.
Wow.
And so again, catering to those smaller business owners who are operating anywhere between 5 and maybe 20 or more trucks.
Natasha, that's rare.
It is rare.
That's rare.
It's a blessing in this day and age, if I'm being honest. So it's a great opportunity for anyone interested.
So for small business owners or drivers listening, because you all are going through probably the busiest time of the year for you guys. This is peak time, right?
Peak season. Oh yes.
So you're onboarding drivers now.
Oh yeah.
Just for the ones that are listening, the drivers that are listening, or maybe the business owners that are listening right now, what can they expect to see AFP over the next couple of months? What does that feel like?
So right now, it's going to feel like hiring.
Really?
Hiring and hiring.
So if you're a driver right now, you might want to tap in.
Oh, yes. If you're a driver, definitely tap in. If you can imagine, it's the holiday season. It's our peak season. And so if there are any drivers out there right now who are listening, of course, recruiting and hiring is gonna vary partner to partner.
Sure.
But one good thing about it is that all AFP jobs can be found in one location.
Oh,
and
really?
I'll put it out there right now. So it's
drop it right now.
Absolutely, it's AFP. AFPjobs.amazon.com.
Okay.
I'll say it again for those in the back.
I think it's that camera right there. Say it right
there.
Yeah.
AFPjobs.amazon.com. And what happens when you go to that site, definitely want to look up a job in your region.
Got it.
And if there are currently no jobs in that region, you can sign up for text alerts. And so what it'll do,
kind of like a wait list.
It will alert you as soon as an AFP post a job onto that site. Isn't that awesome?
That's just like me going to a restaurant and getting on that list and like, hey, come get your salad.
Yeah, they handed you your little
you got
buzzer.
the little buzzer. Hey, that's it. So like, what about the entrepreneurs now? I can't leave the entrepreneurs out. For those that might be thinking, I want to build one of those companies too.
Yep.
What is the first step they should take?
The first step they should take is very similar. So you're gonna go to freightpartner.amazon.com.
We gotta give them the same love, though.
I'll say it again for the ones in the back. freightpartner.amazon.com. They're gonna go to that website, and then of course they will, sign up, basically expressing interest, and after they, kind of click that button to express interest, they'll get all kind of information, and of course it's going to be a strenuous hiring process because
as it should be.
Listen, it should be. It's a coveted role right now.
Yeah.
The bench is full. I'm going to be honest with you, right?
Right.
But things change all the time. You know what I mean? And so definitely, if anybody is interested, please do not hesitate. Go to the website, check out get all the information you need, and request for information, which will be provided to you.
My last question, and I'm going to leave you for the day.
What you got?
If a driver or a business owner joins the AFP program, what really separates the ones that do good and the ones that don't?
Okay, so a business owner that does well is a business owner who is hands-on, right?
I say it again.
Listen, I'm gonna say it loud and proud.
Yeah.
Hands-on. We're looking for, again, like I said earlier, those leaders who have the grit and fit, who are willing to really be in the trenches with their drivers, know what's going on with your operation, understand, the needs, the sentiment of your drivers, and appreciate them, because at the end of the day, I don't care what anybody says. Without those drivers, none of us even exist.
That's right.
Right? None of us have jobs. And so, we have to show and appreciate those drivers. Now, what separates the bad drivers from the good drivers is your performance, your safety.
Yeah.
Number one priority. And
Love
again,
it.
that's why the hiring process at Amazon for drivers is just a little bit intense because, I mean, we're looking for those drivers who are going to commit to serving with excellence, to prioritizing their safety when they're out the road, because we want to see them get home the same way they came to work.
Absolutely, absolutely. Natasha, thank you so much for joining us and giving us our audience that inside look. We probably going on for an hour, but I'm feeling heat over from my left side. Saying, hey, we got to wrap this up.
They're going to get you.
Hey, listen, if anybody wants to get in contact with your team or someone in your region or just a general, how would they do so?
Again, just, reaching out to myself, or are you talking about, well, you can literally hit me up, Amazon. My email address is sannatas@amazon.com.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. And listen, to all my audience and listeners out there, if you heard any value in this particular episode, make sure that you share it out. Make sure you like, subscribe, and do me a favor, stay safe, stay profitable, and I'll see you on the next edition of The Long Haul. Take care, everybody.